So I'm gonna die.
We're live, and Alex is gonna die, apparently.
Oh, I broke his armor, though. Headshot him.
But he broke his armor, so that's, positives, I guess. Hi, I'm Joe Drilling. This is On the Stick After Dark.
He cuts the tip off and just eats the tip of the pizza.
He just the tip, just to see how it feels, of the pizza.
Ugh.
Feels like pizza, baby.
This is not the action cast, but we're talking about Sylvester Stallone in Cobra and his weird pizza eating habits. How are you all this fine evening?
I don't have any pizza to eat. That's not true. There's pizza in my fridge, so I guess I'm good.
There you go. I made pork chops for dinner, so there was no pizza, but pork chops are good.
There's a character in the video game Eric and I are playing who often talks about pork chops for dinner.
All right, cool.
I had a pizza for lunch and lamb chops for dinner, so.
Oh.
I contain multitudes.
I'm told
that
when pizza's on a bagel, you can eat at any time. That's what I've heard. Anyway, that's what
I've
I hear
heard that
tell.
too, yeah.
So, hey, last week I checked out the Satiator, which is an optical drive emulator for the Sega Saturn.
I have an important question.
Yes.
Were you satiated?
I was.
Well,
I wasn't.
Well,
we didn't get to see Mr. Bones.
I was going to say, Mr. Bones
My understanding
works
is
now.
that's been remedied.
That's been remedied. So if we have time at the end of this stream, I can fire up the Saturn and play some Mr. Bones.
So the implication of that comment is that Mr. Bones takes place in the
Listen,
Control universe.
If the options are you can do whatever dumb shit you want to do right now, or play Mr. Bones, and you're like, I'm going to do some other thing, what's wrong with you then? You get what I'm saying?
We don't have that much time.
I don't. Yeah, how much time you got?
There was a Mr. Bones stream on the latest GDQ.
Yes, there was.
They did the whole darn thing, all cutscenes. Because that's what you come for.
That's an all cutscenes run?
Mm-hmm.
So how did they play it? Did they have to switch discs?
I didn't get that far into it.
How do you... so I'm going to start with Bishibashi, because that's what I feel like playing. Although this was doing a weird thing.
All the shenanigans interrupted you. You started to say satiator, and then we went down a rabbit hole.
This week,
then you didn't say what we were doing.
Yes,
this is not a satiator.
This is not a satiator. This is the XStation, which is an optical drive emulator for the PlayStation, which I just got back. I actually got the XStation quite some time ago, but then I had to send it out to get modded because this is a thing that requires soldering.
I did see Blast Chamber on that list. As it went by, Blast Chamber is a delightful multiplayer game.
It is
on the PS1.
Yeah, it is.
That I feel like almost nobody I know ever played. You may be the first person outside of the group of people I actually played it with that I have acknowledged that they've heard of it.
Yeah,
I've never heard of it.
I still haven't heard of it.
Well, now you have Blast Chamber. Now you've heard of it. Yeah, it's a 3D actiony multiplayer. The room rotates, and you're trying. It's like hot potato with an explosive, if I remember correctly.
It's Castlevania 4 multiplayer.
No,
it's more like tag, in which, if I recall correctly, one person is, it and will explode. You can run around and shove each other and do things, but you can also rotate the room by walking onto the edge of the pattern, and then that flips it and people fall.
Right. Yeah.
Lots of shenanigans ensue.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the weird thing about this that I haven't quite sorted out is, for some reason, the game list seems to be off by one, and I thought I fixed it, but apparently I didn't. So this is actually Bishibashi 3, which is really meant to be played with a dance pad. It's called Bishibashi 3 Step Champ.
So you're gonna get out your Donkey Konga bongos and play.
I don't actually. I'm playing it with a controller because I don't actually have a dance pad available.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So.
And you call yourself a retro gaming content creator?
Yeah. Well.
How many bits do I have to give you so you bring up the dance pad?
I mean, enough to buy a dance pad, I think, is the answer.
I have an Xbox 360 dance pad I could.
Got him.
Yeah, I mean, I have a bunch of light guns and shit. I just don't. I don't even if I had a dance pad. Honestly, the way my setup is right now, I do not have room to set up a dance pad in this room at all. Not even a little bit. So
I may have a PS2 dance pad I can send you.
well,
Ignoring your whole room thing.
right. Yes. This is so. This Bishibashi was hypothetically, I guess not just hypothetically, but in practice, a series of mini-games that actually predates WarioWare, if I'm not mistaken. These games are a little bit longer than WarioWare games, but it's a similar, like, it's just weird.
Yep.
It's weird shit, and all the mini-games are very random, and again, this one is actually meant to be played with a dance pad. The arcade version used, I assume, like leftover DDR pads. It's also a Konami game, and that's how they made the arcade version, or why they made it.
Oh, they got a totem, Eric. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. I was just wanted to be playing something instead of staring at the menu. So,
Well,
I
what
do
do
not
you
get
think
what I'm
is-
supposed to be doing in this game.
What's the first game that came to mind when you said, "I'm gonna get my XStation. I'm gonna play a game on my XStation"? What's the first thing you fired up?
What was the first thing I fired up? Harmful Park, I think.
Was it Frightening in the Dark?
I was sick.
Kurt was saying something, but he got very, very quiet when he started saying it.
That was muted. That may be my favorite Skinny Puppy record.
Harmful Park, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Harmful Park is a cute 'em up, a very expensive to own cute 'em up. Yeah, I think that was the first game I fired up. Was
Cute 'em up's a great thing.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
to say.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
And
Sorry.
play. I love cute 'em ups. Your Parodiuses, your Star
There are
Parodiers,
also some of those.
Fantasy Zone. I guess Twinbee
Welcome
maybe.
to
Twinbee
that.
is definitely a cute 'em up, yes.
Get it? It's like that one game. Welcome to the Fantasy Zone. Okay,
Yeah,
anyway.
got it. Well, but that game, never mind.
Listen, I'm just here to fucking dominate it.
Excuse me. Well, actually, sir, the Welcome to the Fantasy Zone line is not in Fantasy Zone. It's in Space Harrier, which is not a cute.
I was talking about Space Harrier.
Yeah, but it's not.
That
a cute
game's
'em
not
up.
cute at all.
Yeah, it's not cute at all.
I know. I'm just. You
Get your
said
head on right, Alex.
Don't
You
kink
just
shame.
said Fantasy Zone, and I was like, "Welcome." That's it. That's how my brain works. There's not a lot in there.
Oh! He screams like that when you die.
Yes.
This is probably harder with an actual dance pad.
There's a
I'm guessing.
car somewhere near me, Eric. Incidentally.
I just want to say that this game that you and I we're having right now is like better than the last like 10 games that we played combined.
Yeah, pretty much. Apparently, y'all talking about fucking Proteus and Mister and whatever is like the catalyst for us to fucking
The power of
pass
teeth.
an Apex.
Were we talking about Mister?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
But-
I'm fucking too busy whipping ass at Apex.
I mean, hey, speaking of that, news on the Mister front today.
Yeah.
The public version of Dodonpachi is.
Yeah, I got that
came
Dodon
out.
pouch.
Yeah.
You're running towards us.
I downloaded that core but I can't get it working on my CRT. It plays on my my HDMI connection, but just for some reason it doesn't scan double on my CRT monitor, and so it's outputting 15 kilohertz, and that doesn't work.
Nice.
I will have to tap the knowledge base of Mr. People and see if someone knows why this core does not scan double the way every other one does.
I think they went through the tunnel.
Okay.
That's
So,
why
Joey, was it hard to do this kind of thing before? Is it very recent that there exists any kind of PlayStation ODE?
So there was a thing called the PSIO, or the SIO, people called it, which plugged into the. I lost all my
Deal.
feet, so I'm gonna switch games.
We can take the dealie if we need to.
No. Got it.
Yeah, the Saio had two parts to it. You had a thing that plugged in the back like an old school action replay, so it had to be a model of
Can we take the
PS1
thing?
that had the parallel port.
We can take the other one.
Okay.
But it also required like a mod chip
one? I see.
be soldered onto the board that connected to the
the wrong
Saio. And also the thing that I really didn't like about it is that like the people who made it made you like register on their website with your full name and stuff, and like you had to go through them to get firmware updates, which always seemed like a little hinky to me. I didn't love that. So
Eric,
a
where'd
lot
you go? Did you go through the
it
portal?
also
I went the wrong
didn't have
one.
like
Okay.
amazing compatibility. This device, as far as I understand, has better compatibility than that one. So
And you were waiting for this for a long time because it's brand spanking new, or
yeah, I ordered it. I mean, the first day they were available to buy, they were exclusively initially. I don't know about now, but they were only available through Castlemania Games. And I bought one. I paid for it the day that they put them on sale, and then they didn't actually send out until like late November, mid-November, late November. And then once I got it, I had to box it back up with my PS1 or one of my PS1s, and the one that's compatible, and send it off to the dude who did the mod, and then he had to do the mod, and then he finally just sent it back to me.
would this
and I got
have
it
been a
this week.
hard mod if you did know? Like, is this like a baby solder job, or would you have to actually be pretty good?
I think you actually have. I think I've been told you actually have to be pretty good.
Okay.
It's not baby's first soldering. You know.
I mean, I get not wanting to do babies first soldering inside your PlayStation. There are probably better places for that
Yeah.
kind of practice.
Yeah.
Ooh, Carmine.
So let's see.
You should fire up one of those games.
Yeah, I'm
What
gonna.
about was it Gradius Gaiden?
Greatest Gaiden rules. I'll play some Greatest Gaiden.
That's a game that I never had a chance to play. Never came to PlayStation Classics on PS3, I don't think.
It did not. Okay, so the last game I picked the game after. The list has been weird, and I think it's because I messed up something with the file format, and I need to
So your
figure that.
indexing is off by one?
Yeah, so I'm gonna try choosing Gradius Deluxe Pack and hope that chooses Gradius Gaiden. If it doesn't, if it loads Gokujo Parodius, then I know that we went in the wrong direction, and I have to.
Hey, you could do worse.
That's true. I could. Gokujo Parodius is super good.
Gokujo Parodius is the one that I have on Super Nintendo.
It could be.
Because that one's also on Super Nintendo?
It is, but so is Parodius Da, and so is Jikyo Oshoberi Parodius.
Are they all?
All three of them are on
Okay.
Super Famicom. Is Chatting Parodius the one you have?
I thought it was Chatting Parodius, and that's what it said on the handmade label, and in fact it turned out to be Gokujo Parodius.
Okay.
It's from Jeremy Parrish's old collection.
Huh.
Yeah, it was given to me on a forum Christmas exchange after he liquidated his collection and someone else bought it, and then they gave it to me. And it's a really good game, so...
I have a handful of
think that
his
was that
games
thing,
that from when he liquidated his collection. My copy of Rockman and Forte used to be
Oh
his.
yeah, you got that from him.
Yeah, my copy of Cotton 100% on the Super Famicom used to be his. My copy
Do you want to go to
of,
the gold drop, Eric?
the weird Namco
Okay.
Famicom Star Wars game was his. I
Oh,
bought
the
a bunch
Scorpion Darth Vader?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he liquidated, I bought like 5 or 6 games off of him because he was selling at good prices. So
I'm just thinking about my copy of Rockman and Forte that I got at Super Potato in Akihabara, because Super Potato is also the first place where I played Donanbachi. They had an arcade
Good.
cabinet
Great
of that
motion for each of us.
upstairs.
Yeah. Well, Mike, the only thing I have to say to that is go play Mars Matrix.
The Dom Pouch.
I've been playing it. Speaking of Don Patch and the Don Patch, I've actually been playing quite a bit of Batsugun lately, which was the final Toa Plan shooter before
It's
the
not one of those
Toa
things where
Plan
you send
Diaspora.
the spinning top at your enemy and you have to
Got one?
let her rip.
Yeah, yes.
Also got one? I don't know where the third is.
Yeah, I don't see him either. But this guy's got the red. Oh, there he is. Fuck.
I'm just watching this sick ass FMV, and I can't
Oh,
remember
there's another
if this is the
squad.
Gradius Gaiden like FMV or the Gradius Deluxe Pack FMV.
You still
I'm
can't
actually
tell
playing
which
this
game you've loaded.
I still can't tell which game I've loaded up. And let's,
Why don't you skip the
this is-
sick-ass
yeah,
FMV and find out?
This looks like it's Gradius Deluxe Pack.
Oh, so you actually got the game you chose. That's progress.
Yeah, I got the game I chose, but yeah, I need to rejigger the the list. Give me a second. But I will tell you, I'm going to tell you guys about a game while I'm waiting for this to load. I'm going to tell you guys about a game that I had to find out about that I'm not going to play on stream for what will be very obvious reasons once I explain it. But as I was finding games to get from the place that I got them, nobody in the chat asked where I got them. Nobody at all asked where I got them because I'm not going to tell you while we're streaming. But I got, I was getting games, you know, I started with the games that I already own, and then I kind of curated. This is not the full PS1 selection because that is huge and will not fit on a memory card, so, or at least not the one. I got a 400 gig memory card for this thing, and I was able to fit 721 games on it. And I can probably fit a handful more, but it's getting close to capacity. But anyways,
400 gigabyte is about as big as you can get for a reasonable price. At this point, right?
That's when they get prohibitively expensive if you bump up much past that.
Because the 400 is actually not too bad. Like it was gig for gig, it's about the same as a 256 right now if you get them on sale.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I got it on sale because you hipped me to the fact that there was a sale, and I was like, well, shit.
It is good to be hip to the jive.
Seems like the striking while the iron is hot. But anyways, as I was going through games to get, I came across, towards the end of the alphabet, a game called Virtual Sex, and it was labeled as unlicensed and being from Russia. And I was like, well, I have to find out, you know, what this is all about, right?
You've heard a lot of talking about this whole sex thing.
I've heard. I can only imagine what
stories.
virtual sex is like, yeah.
Is it, I'm just imagining it's like Virtua Fighter, everybody's like...
Right, so that's what I assumed it was going to be
Really
some
blocky, flat shaded,
blocky.
So very pointy then.
Yeah.
So like nude code Tomb Raider.
Right, like the equivalent of Strip Fighter on the PC Engine, which is like an infamous hentai Street Fighter ripoff. That, in actual fact, to see any of the characters naked in that game, you have to do like it's more trouble than it's worth. Even in the time it was released, I think it was more trouble than it was worth to see naked pixel art. But yeah, so I assumed it was going to be something like that. Like, yeah, Virtua Fighter, but with naked polygon people rubbing up against each other after rounds or what, you know, something like that. What it actually turned out to be is an unlicensed port of a PC game in giant quotation marks, called Virtual Sex with Jenna. And it's literally just a collection of video clips of Jenna Jameson having sex with some faceless dude, in extremely pixely, you know, PS1 quality FMV, and you can like choose a variety. It's like make my video, you know, Crisscross make my video, or NXS make my video, but it's Jenna Jameson getting railed, and that's what it turned out to be. And
like my pornia.
And I was like, this is fascinating in a way, but it's also kind of disappointing. Like I was hoping for something a lot weirder than this, and this is not nearly as weird.
You're hoping for Mr. Bones, if you know what I'm saying.
Right, yeah, right, exactly. I was hoping for... Okay, I told Mike, I told you about this because you were asking for recommendations, but I recently found out that there is a PC Engine, an unlicensed PC Engine CD game, wait for it, called High Leg Fantasy, and it is a porn parody of Final Fantasy on the PC Engine CD.
Did you end up trying that one?
I haven't tried it, but there is apparently an English translation patch available, I'm told. So,
Of course there is.
Right, of course there is. Of course there is. Shot, missile, rapid missile. Okay, sounds good.
Like there's still hunger, like, you know, we haven't figured out like this and that, but like we have an English translation of fucking high leg fantasy.
Of the high leg fantasy, yes, exactly.
Yeah. We've solved that problem.
In the before times, people had a little more time on there.
Yeah, it's
Or on their hairy palms, as the case might be.
So one thing that I love about this particular game, this particular Gradius
not
game,
High Leg Fantasy.
Yeah, is that you can edit your power-up bar. So, like, if you want to push missiles to the end, as I'm kind of doing here,
So, as someone who has never really liked Gradius games, I've always heard this is the best one and the least mean one.
I would say yes. They were really trying to make a console Gradius game. Like that was the design. That was what they were. That was it was all 100% on purpose. Like we are going to make a console friendly Gradius game that is not as just absolutely quarter munchingly ridiculous, as these arcade games that we have made. And
well, this is all pixel art. There's no this isn't like an Einhander style 3D 2.5D game.
Correct, and it's glorious because of it.
Well, Einhander is also glorious, but I guess not.
I mean, Einhander is also glorious. You are correct in that.
It is perhaps not visually stunning.
I collected too many power-ups. Damn it. That's really annoying. What a waste.
You seem to have some quasi 3D stuff happening in the background.
Yeah, a little bit for sure. But this is the same Konami that gave us Symphony of the Night.
And Suikoden?
And Suikoden and Metal Gear Solid, and I still can't really fully figure out why we got the Contra games from this generation farmed out to Appaloosa, the Echo the Dolphin people.
That seems a real swing from Echo the Dolphin to Contra.
Yeah, right. And yet,
sorry, Joe, they can't all be hardcore Uprising.
That's very true, evidently.
You don't hate that game anymore, do you?
No. After you convinced me to go back and play it during the Contra Marathon I did last year, I've actually warmed up to it quite a bit. I need to actually finish it. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it quite a bit. So this game actually is also really cool because it has 2-player simultaneous, which is not a normal Gradius thing. Like that is
a Life Force
that's
thing?
A Life Force, a Salamander thing, but almost never a Gradius thing.
Is there a port of the Life Force sequel on the PlayStation?
There is. It's part of the Salamander Deluxe Pack.
Did I download that?
You should have. You should have downloaded all of the Konami Deluxe Pack shoot 'em up things.
I don't know if I did. I don't know if I spotted them all. They don't all start with Konami Deluxe Pack, do they?
No, they don't. There's Gradius Deluxe. What is it? It's like I can't remember which. Daytona Twin Bee.
Kind of caught between two squads there.
And Gokujo Proteus and Salamander, I think are.
I'm gonna have a look right now. Let's see. Strange, I don't.
It's like Gokujo, because a lot of them have like both names in one like name. Like it's like Daytona Twin Bee Yahoo Deluxe Pack because it's Daytona Twin Bee and Twin Bee Yahoo. So
I actually somehow missed all the Gradius games.
Deluxe Pack. Well, fix it, Mike. What the hell? For that glorious day when the Mister core.
Yeah,
is
it's
ready.
all hypothetical for now. Strange. I don't have Daytona anything.
Daytona Twin Bee, Gokujo Proteus, Salamander Gradius. I think that's all 4. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, so this game actually did get a US release eventually as part of the Gradius collection for the PSP, but that version takes out the 2-player mode, and also it looks weird, like the aspect ratio doesn't feel quite right, and it looks fine on the PSP screen, but if you like blow it up to, like if you're playing it with the video out on the PSP, it looks kind of garbagey, which is, I mean, it depends on the game, but sometimes happens and sometimes doesn't with the PSP's video out. 3D stuff tends to look better on the PSP's video out. Like Mega Man Powered Up looks pretty good. Maverick Hunter X looks pretty good, but
Smoke Monster requests that you put some stank on it.
I mean, I'm doing my best, man. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin, like.
I mean, if that's as much stank as you got, I guess that's what we have to deal with.
You know, I don't
Hey,
want
Smoke Monster, if you're here, maybe you can help me figure out why I can't get the Dodonpachi core to display on my CRT monitor. I have the force scan doubler set to 1, and it works for pretty much everything else, but it doesn't display Dodonpach. I'm
He
stuck
says
in
it was
15
more of a rallying
15
cry,
kilohertz
not
mode for some
not a
reason.
critique.
Ah, okay. I see. He said that, and then you made it sound like it was a critique, and I had not lost a life yet, and then it just
I
went in the tank as soon as you said something.
Yep. I got you. I got in your head.
I gotta go get my laundry, Eric. Let's shoot guys
Okay.
when I get back.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Yeah, but this stage
Even
is
though-
pretty neat. It's
My monitor might not be compatible with its sync. I mean, maybe, but the right now my monitor keeps saying that it's getting a 15 kilohertz signal. So I figured if it was scan doubling, it would be in the 30,000 range or something. But nothing. I've tried switching between the 57 hertz and the 60 hertz mode, and neither one of them seems to change the horizontal refresh rate very much. I know my monitor for sure is not compatible with 15 kilohertz. It has to be like 30 to 70.
He exhorts you to put some more stank on it, and then sets that better.
Yeah, we'll see if I can. Destroy the core. This game is very generous with its checkpoints and with its power-up capsules when you lose a life, at least. Again, it's I mean, it still has, Gradius syndrome, and that you lose all your shit. If you, son of a bitch.
Yeah, the thing that's never really made it easy for me to enjoy Gradius.
Also, like, this kind of game is sort of, like, particularly difficult to play while streaming. It's very hard to concentrate on this kind of Twitch action thing and carry on a conversation at the same time.
Joe, why are you hating on R-Type Delta? That game's cool as hell.
It's fine. I don't dislike it.
Alright.
But, I mean, do you want me to play some of it? Is that a request?
No,
Like,
that's
what do
fine,
you-
that's fine. I was wondering why you didn't seem so keen on it. I guess I misread your not that keen for active dislike.
Yeah, I think it's just. I think it's fine. It's totally fine. So yeah, one thing I didn't really get to touch on that I guess I'm touching on now is that this game has 4 different
Seems that
ships
he
with 4
took the
different
stank off of it.
weapon loadouts.
Yeah.
Which is, I mean, that's
It's not that rare for a Gradius game, is it?
No.
At the very least, the Parodius games have about that many.
Well, the Proteus games have a ton. The Proteus games have a ton of ships with different options, but for Gradius itself, I mean, there were definitely some games that had, as early as I think 2, you had some options when it came to like what your loadout
Aren't there
was going
4
to be.
options in Gradius 3 on Super Nintendo?
Yes, there are.
All right, so that's why I'm thinking that this is a normal thing, because
But they're less interesting, honestly. Like, they're all kind of variations on the same, like, laser double, and then they've got different kinds of missiles and stuff. I mean, I like that, but this game gets pretty weird with it. Like, the ship I was just using has that round laser, which just, like, shoots in a concentric circles out from either you or your options, which is a pretty unique thing.
Yeah, I hadn't recalled seeing that before.
Yeah, this ship, once I upgrade my laser, you'll see that it's kind of got a weird thing going on for its laser as well. And they're also color-coded. And also, again, the fact that it's 2 players means that, like, there's a little more, like, oh, I can choose, such and such a weapon.
I was asking you if you like Fighting Force.
Oh boy. I did at the time. I get the sense that if I revisited it now, I probably wouldn't like it quite as much. But I mean, I will. You know.
We're gonna find the time. You now have infinite Nintendo 64, Saturn, and PlayStation games.
That's, well, not infinite, just all of the ones that are available. I can't create new ones.
All of them.
Yeah.
You could.
I couldn't. Somebody can. Somebody out there can do that, but I'm not that
Joe,
person.
I believe in you. You can make a really shitty N64 game. You put the work in.
I mean, define a game in this context. What
Tic-tac-toe
does it have
for
to?
N64.
I could not.
Sexy
no,
tic-tac-toe.
Nope, absolutely not. I could not do that. No way. No way.
Oh, I have to turn off composite sync. Might have to turn off FB terminal. Your voltage jumper on the I/O board. Oh, really? That's a lot of possibilities. Thank you very much, Smoke Monster. I'll have a look into those. You made a horrible 32X game. There you go. I don't see why you couldn't do it if you did it.
I mean,
I think we all know that Smoke Monster is more capable than Joe.
yeah, it is. Yeah, that should
that's
really go
obvious.
without saying, but apparently it did not. So.
Selling yourself short, bud.
It has now been said. That's more of a bag on Joe than the praise of you, Smoke Monster.
Yeah, for sure.
He said, "Oh, please."
I like all the crystals making your shots go in different directions.
Yeah, the crystals bounce off your laser. Any laser weapon that you use in this stage will bounce around off of a lot of this stuff. Yeah. Which applies to the enemies as well, as you can see there by what just happened to me.
Good meat.
Fuck.
Dang.
It's kind of a screw job.
Well, I've been illuminated as to Gradius guidance, so you can play that if you want, or you can show off something else if you're in the mood.
Yeah. Once I have to continue again, once I run out of lives, I'll check out some Fighting Force since Rhino and I mentioned it. Don't like that. What the hell? What the hell?
No signal.
Yeah, don't. Not loving that.
Something crash.
Come back, signal.
See, Smoke wants to know if you've seen any good movies lately. I mean, I guess they're not recent ones if you have.
I finally watched Bill and Ted Face the Music. That was pretty good.
I saw that when it came out. I enjoyed it.
Alright, let's switch it up. Let's check out Fighting Force.
What is Fighting Force? I mean, I guess
So,
that'll become clear soon, but...
it's a 3D beat 'em up. It's like Die Hard
Oh, okay.
Arcade, but worse.
Okay. Is Die Hard Arcade like a fun game to play?
I like Die
I
Hard
always found it
Arcade a
really
lot.
ugly.
I
Yeah?
mean, it is, by today's standards especially, it's very ugly, but I like it
Oh,
a lot.
even back when it came out, I thought it looked ugly. That and Dynamite Cop. Is Dynamite Cop?
Dynamite Cop is the sequel. The Dreamcast
Okay.
sequel.
I just remember seeing them in the arcades and thinking, like, man, this looks like trash, but I will believe you if you say it's fun.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I did a video on it a couple of Christmases ago. I really enjoy it. Let's find out if it loads up the correct game this time, or if I end up having to mess about with that. Yeah, I like Die Hard Arcade a lot. I think it's maybe until Streets of Rage 4, I guess, like the last great Sega beat 'em up. Or Dynamite Cop, I guess, is probably really more of that because it's the sequel. It's ridiculous. You can beat people up with a fish. You can get a power up. You can get power up that lets you do like these really ridiculous throws, like these like multi-part wrestling moves, like King and Tekken, basically, where you can just like, you know, go from a German suplex to a regular suplex to a like a giant swing to a, you know, whatever else.
What makes it a German suplex? It can only have 3 ingredients?
A German suplex is
Yeah, it follows the German purity laws, 1426.
Good lord. No, a German suplex is a suplex from you are standing behind the other person and you grab them around the waist and you bridge backwards and throw them over your head. That's a German suplex.
Is that not just a regular suplex?
No, that's a German suplex. I think I just said that.
Well, if you're German, it's just a regular suplex.
Well, Karl Gotch is the one who is best known, particularly in Japan, for you know,
Good old Karl
popularizing
Gotch.
the suplex. So the German suplex, I should say specifically. So I think he was German, or at least his gimmick was that he was German, and he still used the German. It was still a German suplex when he did it. So I think, you know,
Doubly German.
yeah. Okay, can I just tell
It's
you?
really
I don't
scary to do not
care.
remove the memory card font.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't need to save.
I didn't know there was a demo of Gex 3 on Fighting Force.
Apparently, I don't remember that, but this is
that
also
on the
the
main menu?
latest. Yeah, this is also the latest. I always get the latest revision of games, like
So they might not have it.
so. Maybe this is like the final version, and it had that. So, but I definitely owned this game back in the day. But yeah, apparently this was meant as, or pitched as originally to Sega as a Streets of Rage 4.
Oh, okay.
And they declined it. And then it was just, Eidos ended up picking it up and putting it out as one of their sort of early PS1. I think this was post Tomb Raider Eidos, but still like pretty early on, if memory serves. Originally, I mean, again, this version has a demo of games that came later, but I think that's because this is the later revision. This might be the one that came in like one of those weird, like white cardboard boxes where they had white. You guys remember what I'm talking about? Like, they weren't the green greatest hits. They had like a white spine, and they came in like 3-packs. It was like, I'm trying to remember what other. Like, I feel like there was like a Legacy of Kain version of that with like Blood Omen and Soul Reaver and maybe something else. And I think the 3 Gex
Yeah, it's pretty
games got
flexible
one
for
of
a big
those.
dude.
Yeah, right. Oh my god, the control. I forgot how stiff the controls are in this game.
I actually know very little about buying PlayStation games because I didn't have a PlayStation.
That's right. I always forget that.
Not until I got my
Yeah.
PlayStation 2. And got unemployed and played a whole bunch of Final Fantasy Tactics.
Nice.
Well, part of it was nice.
Yeah.
That's a hell of a backbreaker. That's like a Bane style, like crippling the Batman backbreaker.
So you're saying a little stiff, not so fun to play?
Yeah, this is not good. For early 3D beat 'em ups, with the exception really of Dynamite Cop, I think, and that game in large part, I believe, because it acts like a 2D beat 'em up. Like, the reason I think that Die Hard Arcade works is because you still can only face left or right. You know?
Really?
Yeah.
Is that does Dynamite Cop let you face other directions?
Dynamite Cop is like more fully 3D, yeah. But wow, the slowdown too. But yeah, the Die Hard Arcade is basically like a 2D, belt-scrolling brawler, but it's just in 3D because that was, the new hotness at the time.
Right. I didn't know it says Jet Moto games. I will say I had a PC port of the first Jet Moto game that I actually really liked. But that game is hard as hell.
The first Jet Moto game is fucking awesome.
Yeah, but it's really hard until you learn
really
how
hard.
the controls work.
Yeah.
So like that would not be a great stream show-off game. I don't
You gotta be good with the grappling hook to play that game good. Play that
I
game
don't
well.
remember the grappling hook. I just remember that you had a lot of different axes that you had to manage. Because you could rotate in all the different axes, and you had to manage your rider's position, like the weight distribution of your bike.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
But I remember
You really
loving
gotta
that
know
game
the
once I got
tracks.
good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Glad you like it
and
too,
then also wasn't there was a hidden stage in Twisted Metal 2 that was a Jet Moto track that you could fight on because it was the same developer, right? So
Yep. Right.
yeah.
The second one is good, but not as good as the first one.
There's 3, aren't there?
Isn't
there
the
three? I don't
the
remember
third one
three.
I thought was just an expanded version of the second one, though.
Ah, okay.
I think. Because I think when I was looking at which ones to get, there was a thing about, Jet Moto Champion Edition or something weird like that is just, an expanded version of Jet Moto 2, but it's, the one to have. So I was like, oh, okay.
Was there a Mountain Dew sponsorship in Jet Moto?
Maybe.
I feel like there was a real world advertising, but I
That
don't
actually
remember.
seems like it's ringing a bell.
That poor Coke machine, jokes. Fucking stop.
Excuse me, Mike. I think you mean that poor soft drink machine.
I can't read the soft drink logo anymore. You
Right.
messed it up so bad.
I mean, look, do you expect me to put 50 cents in that soft drink machine when I could just punch it until it distributes cans of liquid sugary goodness that I can then use to power my vengeance on these security guards? I guess. Am I supposed to be the good guy? I broke
I
into
guess
a
it-
building. I'm beating up security guards.
Super muscle man beating up these mall cops. I don't know. I'm not getting a lot of good guy vibes off what you're doing right now.
Mountain Dew, Butterfinger, and K2 Sports.
Butterfinger,
are all-
that's right, everybody.
We're all
Butterfinger
sponsors
ads.
of various teams.
Now I kind of want to see some Jet Moto.
I saw, yeah, we'll do that when I lose a life. We'll switch over to check out some Jet Moto. God, I saw
Yeah,
a
the
commercial
best.
recently. I follow a couple of YouTube accounts that post old video game commercials sporadically, and there was one for it was for 7-Up, and when you bought enough 7-Up, you could get the NES Spot game, which was just Othello with 7-Up branding
Yeah,
for
that's alright.
$20 with a certain number of 7-Up, 12-pack proofs of purchase.
I feel like you should not need to buy a lot of 7-Up to get that game for $20.
Yeah, I had that game as a kid. It was not good.
I thought it was alright, but I mean...
Yeah, I mean, it was fine, but I remember, I think I got it. I think my parents got it for me in part because I had an NES satellite, and that was one of the 4-player games, which seems weird. It's 4-player Othello, so I guess it's not
It's
just
turn-based.
Othello. Yeah, it's
Just pass the freaking controller.
right. I think there is an option to do that, but they still give you, they wanted to, make it take advantage of that peripheral, so...
I mean, what were the good 4-player games? Obviously, Ivan Stewart Super
Ivan
Off-Road
Iron Man,
Racing.
Stewart Super
One of the
Off-Road.
Gauntlet games was 4 players.
Gauntlet 2 is 4 players.
There was just a plethora of 4-player volleyball games.
There was at least 2 anyways.
That seems like plenty.
Yeah. One of them is okay, and one of them is super good. I feel like, did Eric leave, or is he just not chiming in? I feel like I'm surprised that he had nothing to say about Fighting Force and now has nothing to say about 4-player NES games.
I know he was very tired. I don't know if he's still around.
Ah, okay. That would make sense.
Yeah, he may have fallen asleep now that Alex wandered away and he's not playing Apex anymore.
Fair enough.
He's
Okay.
still in the channel.
So I was going to play until I lost a life, but it seems like it's I'm not losing lives because this game gives you health like candy, literally in some cases it seems like. So,
Liquid candy.
yeah.
Well,
So I think I might just switch over to some Jet Moto. Though I do love that backbreaker looks. That's the best part of this game for sure. Is that ridiculous overhead backbreaker. Okay, if you beat up someone and they dropped a hot dog, would you eat that hot dog off the floor?
If I saw them buy the hot dog and it looked really good, maybe.
I did not see that guy buy that hot dog. I just kicked his ass and a hot dog fell out. And then I ate
mean, not
it
in
off the floor.
2021, you know? Like, I'm probably not eating any hot dog off the floor. Even if I dropped the hot dog on the floor.
Right. Yeah, if I drop my own hot dog on the floor, I'm
natural
not gonna eat it.
immunities, you know, that's what killed the Martians in the War of the Worlds.
That's true.
I want unnatural immunities, please. We were just talking about vaccination recently.
Kurt, I'm sure you're familiar. You lived in DC longer than I did. You have lived in DC longer than I did. So there was always the myth of the person who licked the, like my parents took me in the metro when I was 6 years old and told me to lick the handle, and then I never got sick ever again.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to see they licked the Declaration of Independence or something like that because it was in D.C.
You can't lick the Declaration of Independence. It's under glass, yeah. It used to be in an extremely stupid place, by the way. The original Constitution is super faded because somebody thought it would be a good idea to store it in do you remember, Kurt? I want to say it was the Postmaster General's office, right opposite a west-facing window. So the actual Constitution is super sun-faded and really hard to read, and they keep it in basically a dark room with the Declaration, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights are in this really dark room in the National Archive, so that they don't get any further degradation at this point. But
honestly, people must have known that sunlight ruined documents by that time, right?
Yeah, right. But it's cool to see. I think it's really. I went there a couple times. So yeah, Jet Moto 2 Championship Edition, and Jet Moto 3. I'm gonna check out.
The one is the one I remember, but I don't mind.
I'm gonna load 2 Championship Edition and see which of these games actually loads. I probably should have picked 2 and seen which one loads, because then it would either be 2 Championship Edition or 1 if it wasn't the game I chose. But we'll find out. But that was people would always tell these stories I know someone who knows someone who. When they were 6, they licked the fucking handrail in the metro, and they got super sick. But then they've never gotten sick ever again, and it's that's not how diseases work.
Camaristico says, "Let's not lose sight of this hot dog subject, guys. Stick to what's important."
Well, so the floor seemed really shiny where you were, right? I'm thinking if the floor was freshly waxed,
that could have been a freshly waxed floor, yeah.
Then chances are that hot dog is. The hot dog's probably already got some wax in it, right?
I have to say, you did not actually eat it. You just stepped on it and it disappeared.
And it gave me health and it disappeared.
Yeah, right. So clearly, you just osmoted it through your feet.
Auto centering, I guess. Is this game analog compatible? Looks like it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Controller 1. All right. Roll left, roll right.
I'm pretty sure I played Jet Moto 1 with a keyboard.
Grapple, accelerator, grapple, thrust. Okay, thrust is on the analog sticks. So. Wait, what's the difference between accelerator and thrust? What the hell is happening in this game?
It's like a turbo.
But there's a turbo button too.
Unless one of them is your lateral thrust, because again, my memory of this game is spending a lot of time wrangling your character along 6 axes to make sure that they stayed upright.
Mountain Dew from the
upright
max.
And leaning forward.
It's been 15 years or more since I played this. So.
Jet ski.
I told you this before, Joe, but most of the PlayStation 1 games that I experienced back in the day, I experienced through my computer, either through their generally very dodgy PC ports, except for Resident Evil 2, or using Bleem.
Oh yeah, sure.
Bleem, nice.
Bleem.
Didn't I just see that Bleem came back? Somebody's using that trademark. Somebody bought that trademark and is using it for something else now.
Why not? Hell of a name.
Yeah, true. So these illustrations are all very clearly Wildstorm inspired.
Oh yeah,
Jim Lee
absolutely.
didn't do any of this
My
art.
mic's been muted. I made a good joke and nobody laughed.
That's
Doubt
'cause it was, I was gonna say. I mean, dubious, but it was because the thing was muted.
Yes, it's obviously because you were muted. That's why.
I was just gonna pretend that we all heard you.
I'm just gonna start from the beginning.
Did you win, Eric? That was a long game.
We believe that he either wandered away or fell asleep.
Oh.
Or his mic is
one of the-
busted. But I
one
think
of
he
the
would have
fun
put something in the
things that-
chat if that was.
Yeah, one of the
Slick
things that
Rock
Jetmoto
Gorge. Oh man.
brought to the table was
What's the rating on this
side
game?
tracks in which you ran in a figure
There's
eight and
There he is.
run into other
Whoa!
people going the other direction.
Okay, so I fell off my. Okay, so the right analog stick. Okay, I get it. So yes, the right analog stick actually does accelerate me. It's like an alternate to just holding the X button. Is like you can. It seems like you can have a little more control over your speed.
That's how
Yeah.
I played Gran Turismo 3 on PlayStation 2. Is I used the right analog stick as my accelerator and brake.
Which actually feels surprisingly good, to be perfectly honest.
I played a lot of Gran Turismo that way, and I thought it was good.
What are the odds, Joe, that you could land on top of that checkpoint sign on purpose?
The
I
second
did.
time.
You kind of did. You can because you
No,
can.
no. You have to do it on next time. You have to do it on
Okay,
purpose.
all right. You can slow down. The thing is that you can slow down with the using the analog stick as your accelerator. You can like throw it back and slow down really
Yep.
fast, which
Right.
is
Yeah.
how I did that. So
It's
let's see
actually,
if I can-
appropriate speed control and attitude control of your Jetmoto is the key to doing well in this game.
yeah.
I could
It's-
never.
You can't just jam on the X and go full on all the time or you will fail.
I could never figure out how to play this game.
It's so good.
Same.
I want to say most of it really comes down to just keeping your racer upright.
Yep.
I could either go fast and compete and then crash and die all the time, or I could just lose really by going too slow. I could not.
No,
play
couldn't
anything
couldn't
like
couldn't stick the landing on the checkpoint sign that time, Eric.
I was going to say Joe is in second position out of third, but I realized I had
That's no,
misinterpreted the
that's
GUI.
two out of three. Oh
Left
no, I
two.
fell off my bike. Okay. My bike. I can't find my bike. So this
You
is
have a
kind of
request for
like.
Pitfall TV if you get bored with this.
Well, I mean, I love Bruce Campbell, so I'm sure I. Who requested?
single-
Who requested that?
Ooh, right on her. And yes, Single Track created this Twisted Metal Warhawk, so iconic early PlayStation
PS1,
developer.
yeah.
Yeah.
Although they were actually like a contractor, like the producers for these games, I think all worked at Sony. Like David Jaffe worked at Sony, and he just basically like gave Single Track their marching orders, like kind of. Like there was a producer for Single Track.
I
as
believe
well,
that
but-
was my understanding. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, almost landed on the checkpoint sign that time. The thing that I can finding a little bit frustrating is that there are things that it feels like I can ramp off of, and things that look like I feel like I should be able to ramp off of them, but cannot.
It may be that you're not positioned correctly to do it.
That's possible.
Because, like I said, it's all about the attitude with which you are
Yeah,
facing
fuck 'em.
things.
This is the 90s, Kurt. Please,
Yeah.
it's Ratitude.
I got tons of
it's
attitude.
it's baditude.
I mean, this was the late '90s though, so I think it was just regular attitude by that time. We had passed bad
But with
attitude
a
and
with an
Ratitude and
XX
come
on
all the way back
XXX
around.
on either side.
Yes, and also Z. It's first place. Look at that, first place.
Zatitude.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, anytime anytime anything required a letter S, you would just substitute the letter Z instead. That's how we did it back then. All right, so that was Jetmoto. I guess let's check out some Bruce Campbell
Awards.
in Pitfall 3D Return to the Jungle or whatever it's called. The nice thing about this also that I keep forgetting to mention, with the satiator, you have to actually turn the system off and turn it back on to get back to the satiator menu. The XStation has a thing where if you hit the reset button, it'll reset the game you're playing. But if you hold down the reset button for like 2 seconds, it kicks you back to the XStation menu, which is nifty.
Nice.
Let's see here. Pitfall Beyond the Jungle. And we're gonna find out if this actually loads or if it if the parts of the menu that have been acting wonky have changed since yesterday, from yesterday to today. Yesterday it was like the second section of the alphabet, because I have that's part of what I think the problem is like I thought that I'd read that the new firmware supported nested folders, but it actually doesn't seem like it does, obviously, because you're seeing just all 700 games in one list. So I broke them into different folders, and I think that might be what's causing the problem. Okay, so I went
It
to
actually
load
just
up
goes all the way to
Pitfall.
the letter O. It doesn't support P and beyond.
I mean, this is a game that starts with P, so I don't think that's right.
Oh, it's working.
Yeah, you also missed my virtual sex story, so that game worked, and that starts with V. So both P and V work.
Yeah, they do.
Nothing virtual about that.
Yeah, but Anthony, the short version, since you're here now, I feel like you should know this.
Is that a bullet bill?
Kind of. But the short,
Bullet William.
yes, but the point blank Bullet William is like he's the mascot, you know,
Yeah.
and not an enemy like in Mario.
Right.
But
Turns out
yeah, it turns out
you're
that
on
there's an unlicensed port of a Jenna Jameson game on the PS1. Yeah, it's called Virtual Sex. So it's like, as I said earlier, it's a crisscross make my video, but with Jenna Jameson fucking
They
something.
could have called it Virtual Hard On.
I
Don't
mean,
get it?
Oh, I get
get
it. But then it'd have to have giant robots, right? I mean,
Uh-huh. Also, 2 joysticks.
the giant robots
Two
were.
sticks, if you know what I mean.
I do.
You got to cut back on those cigarettes, Alex.
Nope, never. You know I love them so much.
I do know that about you.
Okay, so that's weird. That trying to load a Pitfall loaded up a game that is 3 games below it on the menu.
So do you think you're getting like one
So-
menu entry per folder? How many folders did you put into your
Maybe,
drive?
4, I think. Okay,
So maybe
I
the
guess
farther
I'm
down
gonna
your
try
list
to
you go,
load
the
up.
more you'll have to compensate.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to load up the Persona 2 bonus disc, and that should load up Pitfall if this all holds.
Just the porn parody of that is the boning disc.
Yeah.
Bonsona.
I felt like some games, as I got towards filling up this memory card, I started being like more choosy about what I was grabbing. So the bottom of the alphabet is like I get to Wild Arms, and I'm like, oh, that's like a noteworthy, like important-ish, I guess, game on the PS1. I'm like, but it's also
Got that song with the whistling.
right. But I'm like, but fuck that, I don't want to take up the room with it. But earlier in the alphabet, you can see that, like, am I ever going to play Persona 2? Probably not.
What about the Persona 2 Japanese bonus disc?
Yeah, well, I mean, I was, but it turns out it's actually Pitfall, so I guess I'm going to play
I would
Pitfall
more
instead.
likely believe you would play Wild Arms than Persona 2 at
Well,
minimum,
fair
just
enough.
because of the
Because it's shorter.
Western theme, but also
Yeah,
shorter.
well, right, that too. Yeah. But yeah, towards the end of the alphabet, like I grabbed all the Final Fantasies. Like I'm never gonna replay Final Fantasy VIII. That's never gonna happen. Although I guess I might use it as B-roll for a video at some point or something. So
Should. That's a great game.
Same name, different number.
it's not, Mike. It's garbage, actually. Final Where Eric? Where are you? You're supposed to have my back when I shit talk Final Fantasy VIII.
Final Fantasy 8 sucks.
Yeah, see, Eric knows.
I'll back him up too. That
Okay.
game blows.
All right,
I hate it.
cool.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not Final Fantasy 9.
That game sucks.
That's true. It's not. I don't. The game probably hasn't aged well, but at the time I liked it much better.
Final Fantasy IX. I don't know. Eric checked out that high res mod where you can see.
Yeah, it's
her
alright.
butt
It's still
crack and-
totally fine and kind of boring. It's like
But
it was.
it's got HD butt crack now with
now
HD
with
butt
HD
crack.
butt crack.
Which that was the thing, like if I remember correctly, right, Eric, it was like that Resident Evil 4 mod that I played, where it's like they released a version that they said was in HD, but the textures actually weren't, so somebody made proper HD textures. Was that the thing? I don't remember. I think it was something like that. Anyways, man, more like very bad Jim Lee inspired art in this game too. That was a thing we were committed to in the 90s. Was like
Some.
Jim Lee or like Rob Liefeld style. Jim Lee's a much better artist
I
than
mean,
Rob Liefeld.
Image
but
was a huge force in the comics industry.
yes.
I don't know. Does the character have feet?
For better or worse, and that is mostly worse. How many pouches, and does it have feet?
How many pouches?
Right. So this is
Answer all of the
yeah.
pouches.
So this is a 3D action platformer on the PS1, and guess what doesn't work?
This you should play
Ironically, you
Blasto.
bitched
You
about,
guessed using an analog stick to control your.
Wait, did you say
character's
Blasto?
Yeah, I said after this you should play Blasto.
I
Man,
mean,
that
if we're,
game's not great
it's
either.
not great, but it's one of the last things Phil
Just-
Hartman ever did,
Yeah, which is sad,
which is really
because it's
sad.
not great. I will say, you bitched about Final Fantasy VIII, and this guy kind of looks like Squall.
This is the prequel. That
It's a
game.
side story.
Yeah.
So when it comes to PS1 games with Bruce Campbell as the voice of the main character, I will say that Konami's Broken Helix is actually the much better game. It's a much weirder game, and it's not. It looks like an action game, but when you actually play it, you realize that it is in fact not really an action game at all. I mean that you can shoot stuff, but it's like more like a mystery. You have to go talk to different people in the facility that you're in and defuse bombs. And
Oh,
like,
that was the one
puzzle.
that billed itself as being 4D.
Yes, yeah, because stuff happens. It's like The Last Express, and that like stuff will happen even if you're like not around for it to happen, and you can miss events if you're not.
All
Yeah,
3D
not
games are
even.
4D. They have time in them.
Right. Yeah.
It's like
Right.
Myst, I guess.
Well, no time. That game dilates time. It feels like everything is going on forever when you play Myst. This game is really bad, you guys. By the way, like I seem to recall
I bet I
getting,
bet I
like,
could
some hype
think of a
at the
3D
time.
game that doesn't have time if I sat here and tried. I'm not gonna.
Yes,
Or
you
do you
are.
mean time elapses as I play it? Because
Right.
that's cheating.
Yes, that's the joke. I'm pretty sure.
Mm,
Oh well, no. I mean, I was literally
one
saying
is
that
No, I think
a 3-dimensional game that moves is a 4D game. Like,
right.
no, it's just one game. It's not 40 games.
But if I can't move,
I get it.
But if I can't move through time, Mike, then it's not really a 4D game. You know what I'm saying?
Is Braid a 5D game?
Yes, Braid is a 5D game. Braid, I feel like we talked just a couple weeks ago about like how
Many D's?
No,
Braid
about how frustrating it is that Jonathan Blow is like extremely pretentious and obnoxious because his games are actually pretty good. But he's
We did talk about
insufferable.
this. I don't
We did.
remember. Oh, maybe it was when I was talking about Antechamber.
Oh yes,
Yes.
that's
Yeah.
actually that's
Yep.
exactly when it
That's
was.
when it happened.
I mean, that can frustrate you if you want, Joe, but it's not new.
No, it's not. Well, I mean that Jonathan Blow in particular is a pretentious d-bag,
Yeah.
or that, yeah, well, sure.
It's been pretentious since day one.
Well,
Made a good
literally
game.
the
So that's
whole
how
time.
many D's
Yeah.
there that game has. He's got a whole bag of them.
Yeah, he's got a whole bag of them.
I thought you were gonna say it's just the one,
One capital D.
but his name is right there on the front. So
So because the analog sticks don't work in this game, I can't
This
adjust
is-
the
this is
camera.
really fucking bad.
So, is that
I'm
supposed
into
to be the case, or is this a pre-DualShock game, or is this just that the satiator's having some weird issue?
I don't.
The XStation?
The XStation. No, I don't think so. I think this is either it's pre-DualShock or dual analog, or they just didn't give a shit enough to like implement it into this game.
Not everybody had one.
That's true. I had one of the early. I think I still do somewhere. One of the pre-Rumble models, which is actually pretty comfortable to hold because the handles are actually really long on those. I don't know why.
Long
that
box
is.
CD cases and long handles on your controller.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
1995,
Sony was
baby.
compensating for something. What was I? Oh, but and because I'm talking to you guys, I'm not even hearing the Bruce Campbell dialogue, which is the worst part. Like that's the only reason to play this game, and I'm not.
Maybe
getting
you
the
are,
good-
but we all sound like Bruce Campbell.
You don't sound like Bruce Campbell, Anthony. I'm sorry to tell you.
Let me do my Bruce Campbell impression. Whoa.
Do you think Bruce Campbell and Joey Lawrence are the same person?
Pitfall 3D came out the year before Ape Escape.
I mean, Ape Escape was like the showpiece for the dual.
It was the
analog, for
showpiece.
sure,
That's why I
but-
was thinking.
Yeah.
At that point, if you weren't really supporting DualShock.
When did it come out
Fall
in
that
You're
pit.
losing out.
relation?
It's not the first one.
When
but
did it
was
come out
sort
in
of
relation to
Don't
Jet Moto
fall in the
2?
pit. It's called
Because
Pitfall.
That's a good question.
Jet Moto 2 uses the analog sticks.
I know.
So wait, does Jet Moto
2
1
was
not use them?
97.
Jet Moto 2 did use them. That's what I'm
No,
saying.
Jet Moto 1, I'm saying.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't play Jet. I mean, I don't
remember.
recall.
So it was before it.
This is before Jet Moto?
No.
Reminds me, I have to
Jet Moto
do my,
2 was
like-
before this.
No, so they definitely could have. So, yes, there was the option for dual analog control. It just
When
opted
did the
not to
DualShock
use
actually
it.
come out?
Well, you should look for the dual
97.
analog hit before the DualShock. Anyways, I'm gonna play.
That's
What was
actually
Blasto?
true.
Yeah, Blasto.
I have a related
Ugh.
question.
I feel
sort
like I have to play the game that Eric requested because Mr.
No,
Bug
I'm
and
not
Mr.
saying
Bones
don't,
didn't
I'm
work
just saying,
last
ugh.
week.
That's so disappointing.
I have a tangential question. When
Yeah.
was the last time someone played Wave Race 64, and does it still have the best looking water in video games?
It definitely has the best
Yes.
looking water of that era. I
It
also
it did for like 2 generations.
yeah, I also just got I don't know. Wave Race Blue Storm also had really good looking water. I also just got an
sounds like-
N64 EverDrive, so
it
I
sounds
could
like a drink I would buy at 7-Eleven.
Wave Race
Blue
Blue
Storm?
Storm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they're out of stock. You have to go to
They only have Diet Blue Storm.
the Circle K down the street.
So I think, based on what happened before, if I pick Blaster Master, I'll get Blasto. I think. I need to really sort out this menu issue.
Blasto Master.
Yeah. Yeah, this was one of the... I don't know if it was the last thing that Phil Hartman did, but
Oof.
it was close, and that's really a
It-
bummer.
Yeah,
That's-
it's close, if not.
I mean, it's not his fault that it's a bad game.
It is
no,
not.
it's absolutely not his fault that it's a bad game. He has
He's
a
the
weird...
highlight.
He has a long, weird history with video games. He was in a bunch of Atari commercials back in the day.
Yeah.
Where like the guy's like, do you want everything? And he's like, give me everything, and like he gets all really intense about playing Atari. And then he was the spokesperson for CDI and he played like
God.
5 characters in all these CDI commercials.
Huh.
I can't wait till someone is bored enough to make him CDI core for the Mister.
Yeah, right. I was asking about that because I'm doing there's a video that I'm going to be working on. One just went up for Patreon people right before the stream, and then the next one that I'm going to be working on, I need to get CDI footage, and I was asking people on Twitter, and specifically Yahel from Wrestling with Gaming, because he's like the internet's #1 CDI evangelist. And I was like, is there a good CDI emulator? Because I don't want to buy a CDI for one game, or even, a handful of games. Plus, they're notoriously finicky. Did you guys know that the CDI frequently suicides because they put a watch battery in it that, like, regulates the boot process? And it's in this, like, epoxy brick with the processor. So you have to, like, very carefully carve it out if you want to replace it and keep your CDI running. I don't think that's every model of CDI, but it's definitely, like, some of them.
Dylan Cuthbert programmed this game.
Really? Why is
Yeah.
it so bad then?
I don't know. Well, he didn't design it.
Well, fair
He just programmed it.
I didn't realize that...
I was looking this up because I was like, when did this come out in relation to Ratchet and Clank?
Dylan Cuthbert of Pixel Junk Monsters fame?
Yeah.
So, this came out... I mean, Ratchet and Clank was a PS2 game, so...
That's true.
And not that they weren't contemporaneously releasing PS1 and PS2 games, but... I feel
Yeah,
like-
but that's part of what I was trying to get at was like, I can see a line from Blasto to
Captain Quark.
Captain Quark.
Yeah, right.
Although
Yeah,
there's a long history of buffoonish, hero-esque kind of characters, but I could see Captain Quark having been played by
Phil
Phil
Hartman.
Hartman in the same way. Yeah.
Does he just use the Lionel Hutz voice for Blasto?
No, he's more... He's... Well, you'll hear it in a second, I think, if you have the sound on. But no, he's doing, like, the ridiculous, sort of over-the-top superhero.
Macho Man kind of.
Yeah.
Well, now what? Now it'd be like Billy West, right?
I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Well, not if they were trying to get someone actually famous. It wouldn't be Billy West. It would be
I mean, he's voice actor famous.
right. But Phil Hartman was cast
Yeah,
member on
famous,
Saturday Night
famous.
Live on a primetime sitcom, like famous. Yeah.
Honey, I'm home.
Well, you'll be glad to know that at the very least the analog stick works in this game.
Doesn't he play the huckster in the monorail episode of The Simpsons, aka the greatest episode of
does.
TV
He plays
ever
a
made?
lot of characters in
I
The
didn't say he
Simpsons.
was
However,
the
yes.
top of the Simpsons.
I'm just saying, name me a better
was,
Simpsons episode. There's like 2 that I would consider.
I mean, the first couple Treehouse of Horrors
Itchy
are
and
real
Scratchy
good.
Land.
Itchy and Scratchy Land.
Really?
Is Itchy and Scratchy Land the one? Which one is the one where the guy who
Yeah, I guess
actually
his son's
created?
name is also Port.
Yeah, okay, my other son is also named... Yeah, my son is also named Port. That is pretty good. I don't know if I'd put that in my top 5.
What was the one?
You know, I saw the ice hockey one recently, and I hadn't seen it in years, and I was like dying.
So is that where Lisa plays?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like that
Eye
one
the
just
Tiger
like
Melts the Teamster?
Homer's Triple Bypass is the best episode of this.
I was actually gonna say that. I was trying to
That's a
remember what
good
the
one.
name
That's
of
the
it actually
that's
was.
the bad cops one. It's also the one where you spend all the time with Dr. Nick, with Mr. Mr.
yeah.
Greg, who has an arm for a leg.
Ruffridge.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, okay, I forgot about that. That's a good one. I was gonna say, I think my other favorite one is the Cape Fear episode.
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Cape Fear episode.
Yeah.
So good.
If only for how long.
Oh wait, no, the
the
best one is the fucking supervillain one, where they go to the fucking
Scorpio?
yeah, Hank Scorpio.
Yeah,
That
that's another. That's the top
that
5
one's
for
pretty
me.
good.
Aw, the Denver
Yeah.
Broncos.
one. The dude just starts running and the football bounces off.
Every
his
time I
head.
hear about the Denver Broncos, I think
I think of that episode. Yeah, same.
I want a cup holder here, 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 here.
Which one is the one where the guy who actually created Itchy and Scratchy tries to sue over?
Kurt said some of the Tree Houses of Horrors already, I believe, but specifically the
I
one
said
with
that. Yes.
whoever said it, I don't know, but the one with like go ahead, throw your vote away. Obviously,
Yep.
it's
Right.
2016. I've
Don't
thought
blame
of
me.
a lot.
I voted
Yeah.
for Colin.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
voted for
It's funny
those.
because I've also thought of the monkey paw one a lot.
Yeah, the monkey paw one was also.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
So
Abortions
clearly-
for all. Ooh! Abortions for some, small plastic flags for others. Yay!
I think I'm supposed to save this babe or whatever, but I can't
You are,
figure out
yes.
how to actually do that. Oh, there's a switch over here.
Save the babe.
Babe?
Save the babe.
Babe?
I just watched that movie this weekend.
Really?
That'll do.
Babe or Labyrinth?
That'll do, pig.
Babe.
You remind me of the babe.
One of those things reminds me of the other thing.
Yeah.
What thing?
The thing with the power.
Okay, let's stop. I feel like we've done this bit many, many times.
I'm sure. I mean, we did
Eric,
just
me and
lose.
Rando
We
were
lost
meeting.
David Bowie like 5 years ago yesterday or whatever it was. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Boo.
This game is really bad, by the way. I don't
It's really, really bad.
This is like a first-party Sony game too. And it's just like, what
Yeah.
are you guys doing? Like, what the hell?
It's
I don't know if I knew that.
Hey, there's another babe. But
I appreciate how much you don't like it, Kurt.
it was the sheer disappointment I had.
was it all Phil?
It sounded like you had some
Hartman
first-hand
related, or-
experience with this game.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there's a girl over there that I'm again presumably supposed to save, but I can't figure out how the hell I'm supposed to get over to her. Like,
Oh, mama.
Nope. Hit a switch.
Ta-da!
I'm gonna press the button that says "Do not press."
No.
I blew up. That's
How did
hilarious.
nobody
Get
come here
it?
yet?
it's funny because it's a button that says "Do not press," and when you press it, it blows up.
Carbine.
I mean, it said it right there.
Right. Yeah, that's the joke. Yeah.
Try it again. Maybe it only happens the first time.
I did try it again, and it seems to only happen the first time. So
Maybe the third time it's good.
third time's the charm.
Yep.
Yeah. So this game sucks shit through a straw.
What?
It's impressive, actually. Well, or not, I guess,
Is
depending
it?
on the consistency.
And the straw.
True.
It's a bendy straw. It's a
I
curly.
was gonna say, it was like one of those bubble tea straws.
It's one of those like foldable metal ones that you bring to a restaurant, so you don't have to order a plastic one.
Yeah.
Oh, I need.
Yeah, just like that. Anthony, you got it.
Oh, thanks. Oh, I have medkits. Sorry, I meant to. But thanks. I 5 squads. What the fuck?
I don't know, man. What the fuck?
This is a weird game. Alright, so gold packages are next.
Ta-da!
Excuse me. That's all I'm hearing, and then every once in a while I hear like the idea of Phil Hartman going like through like your headphones or something.
Right, yeah.
But like I can't hear what he's saying, so it just sounds like and I'm like, okay. Like
He's saying, I motion
Pretty
for
good
a
Phil
bad
Hartman.
law thing.
I do like
no.
you're hearing the idea of Phil Hartman. That's
You get
yeah, that's
disconnected,
good.
Eric?
Yep.
Shit.
I'm trying to rejoin, but
But I can still
Okay.
hear you.
Well, it's 10:21, so I think I'm gonna say that that's gonna be it for tonight.
Way to end on a down note.
Yeah, I almost feel like maybe I should switch over to something good for a little.
yeah, you
bit
should play Jersey
for-
Devil or
This is something good.
yeah. That's- play Gex.
He knows what he.
Gextry.
Play the Fifth Element.
I actually think that the Gex games are the very first one, which is a 2D platformer. I think is actually totally fine. It's not like reinventing the wheel on 2D platformers, but it works.
Play Croc, the Legend of the Grabars.
Speaking of a shitty game,
Croc, Legend of the Gobos.
I will bitch about Croc every time we bring it up. And I'm pretty sure I do.
I feel like you do, yes.
Ugh.
How do you feel about Croc?
Yeah.
Take it or leave it.
Let's see here.
I don't know which one's the guy.
Do you want to be the guy?
Do you want?
Shut up.
No.
I don't know if this is going to load. This is either going to load Bushido
You got
Blade
it.
2 or it's going to load Bust a Groove, and whichever one
I
loads is fine.
was actually going to say Bust a Groove.
Yeah, Buster Groove is great.
Bust a Groove is great.
Pathfinder and
Fuck, I forgot about Buster Groove.
But also Bust
Razor
Bushido Blade.
Sword.
Either one of those would be a
Right.
fine
That's
Either
choice.
my
one of
sit
these
down
is a high note to go out on, whichever one decides to load.
I did not realize Buster Groove was held in such high esteem.
Yeah, Buster Groove rules.
Yeah, man.
And the fact that they redid
man.
the whole soundtrack for the English
Damn.
language release is like kind of extra dope, right? Like,
Yep.
Now I want to play Buster Groove.
Do you own a PlayStation?
I like that in Japan it was called Bust a Move, but there was already a different game called Bust a Move here that
Yep.
wasn't called Bust a Move in Japan, so they had
Yep.
to change the name
Yep.
to be. No, I had to turn off the analog button or it wouldn't let me do anything. That was weird.
Huh.
There are very few games that actually like lock you out from
That are like, hey, wait.
Yeah, don't stop it. Turn that off, you.
989.
Studios. I did not remember that NX had anything to do with this game, by the way.
Yeah.
Need another top 10 finish, Eric.
Hey, listen,
To-
Also, apparently, one of my weeklies is to hit 8 people with smoke grenades from Bangalore, and I'm like, oh man, that is not
What?
gonna happen.
How are you gonna hit people with smoke grenades all the way from Bangalore?
Well, they could be in Bangalore also.
They could be in Bangalore also, yeah.
Or does the smoke
Also-
grenade have to be? It's like a manufactured in Bangalore smoke grenade. It's an
That would probably work
artesian
out.
Bangalore
Yeah, that
smoke
works.
grenade.
Oh, it says you're in a match, but I'm not in a party with you for some reason.
Yeah, I didn't.
Yeah, well, parties aren't really a good thing these days, so you know.
Yeah, don't do that.
Hang on. I have a
actually,
feeling that when
Alex
I
is immune
rejoined,
now.
Probably we weren't in the same. No, we were in the
He's
same lobby.
superhuman.
We're in the
I do.
same mob. We are
Yeah.
now. It just for some reason only put you in a match.
Okay, hang on. I'll just leave.
I was superhuman.
Oh, I like that there's
Or
an
at least
option
more
to
human than
turn.
human.
There's an option to turn the command display off, which like I don't even know how you'd play this game if you turn like you. I memorized the whole song and all the inputs for it. I guess.
I mean, that's totally a DDR thing, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess this game doesn't play with a dance pad though. So
played by.
No, but like the people who like DDR probably also like this game.
Yeah.
You see the GDQ run where someone played the Celeste Seasides using a dance pad?
No, I did not see that. That was this year.
Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I missed that. I'll see if I can even do this with talking to you guys.
Hero versus Heat.
Are you not in here again?
No, I'm there. I readied up.
I don't
What?
see you.
Go.
No, I did it again. All right, whatever. Play a game and then we'll figure it out. I'm gonna like quit and restart.
Because it keeps putting me in 2 people lobbies.
Weird.
I don't remember how to play this game, so I see your inputs, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, I gotta say.
Right.
Joe, how do you play this game?
On the beat, you put in the so you get
Directional
the
things,
option
and then
of
hit the button.
those right. You hit the button on the 4th beat of each bar.
What are the when do you put the arrows in?
Anytime before the 4th beat on each bar.
And do they
Oh,
have
so
the
you-
arrows have to be timed?
The arrows don't have to be.
The arrows
timed.
do not have to be timed.
The buttons do.
That's weird.
Maybe that game's not good.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Maybe
Okay,
it used to be good.
stream now. I forgot about this game.
Isn't that weird? It seems really weird to me.
It seems very strange to me. It feels like
It
they
won't
should all
only-
be on the beat.
Only a third of your button presses have to be in time?
This is what drove me crazy about Sayonara Wild Hearts, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yes, that is
that's
what it's
right.
called.
Did I get it right? Because, like, half your actions are not on the beat and half of them are. And so, like, I'd be wanting to play it like a straight-up rhythm game, and sometimes you don't.
Mm.
It just drove my brain crazy.
Also, playing it on your phone with your fingers,
Oh, the touchscreen
Is
controls in that game
pain in the
suck.
ass is to see, and it's wildly imprecise.
Yes.
I
Yeah, I
So
agree with
the
that.
way that it's hard when I'm talking. This is actually harder to play than Gradius while talking to you guys. But it's the what I did when I played it originally and what I am trying to do now, but again it's difficult, is that even though you don't have to tip the arrows on the beat, I still do, right? Like that's the easiest way to do it. It just
Sure.
becomes a problem once there's more than 3 inputs before the button press, because all of these songs are in 4/4 time, if I remember correctly. So, like, there's no option to be like, oh, I can, get 5
you have to
beats
start
per
speeding
measure,
up.
right? You have to, like, because once you get far enough along,
I mean, it sounds like you could just decide on your own rhythm rules, basically.
right.
Just choose what a rhythm for a 5 is going to be, and just do that every single time.
Yeah, it's Yeah, and then there's like I forgot how to do that though. But there's like a way that you can like she just messed me up.
Yeah, you can bulk the other player when your bar gets full, I think.
Yeah. And there's a way to like avoid it too. There's like a dodge. Yeah, if you hit square on the beat instead of circle or X, you can dodge their attack if they do that to you.
Go through the little window. Yeah.
And actually, I am now remembering how you would play this without the prompts, because with the chains, there's like certain combos, like certain moves that come after each move. Like it builds on. Yeah, like it builds on each move builds on another move. So if you knew all the sequences and what you had the option to do by looking at the dance move your character's doing, I guess you could play it without the prompts. But man,
So you're saying it's like a fighting game?
kind of. It's a little more prescriptivist than that, but similar. Oh, fuck that. So I totally forgot that there's like a woman for baby fetishists in this game, but it's fucking weirding me out.
Cool.
Is it?
I mean, it's definitely something.
It's some adjective of some kind. And there's like a big thing of, I guess that must be breast milk behind her.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I guess. I don't.
So that's a big breast pump behind her.
Yeah, yeah, right, exactly. It's definitely exactly what's happening there.
Yep. I feel that.
Oh, there's packages here. They're all wingmans.
You'll be happy to know that the milk bottle is squirting milk all over me. Matt, this is... Okay. Alright, you know
Can you
what?
turn this off?
Yeah. Yes,
What
I
are you
can.
playing?
Playing
Jenna
Busted Groove.
Jameson's virtual sex.
For Jenna Jameson's.
Are you sure? Are you sure it was Busted Groove?
Yeah, in my limited time with Jenna James, with virtual sex with Jenna, I did not see an option
quote,
for the
limited.
lactation fetish. That it might be.
You didn't get far enough.
That's
Yeah,
Yeah, I didn't get far. Yeah, you
Yeah,
need,
it's
there's,
DLC.
there's a code.
Get a game, Genie.
Yeah, right. Anyways, I'm gonna call it an evening here. Thanks everybody for hanging
Why?
out and
Why
watching.
is this the stopping point?
And
Nothing happened?
we'll be back next week with something
Bye.
else. Good night.
Talk about milk some more.
I want some milk.